Level 2 is over on NinjaTrader. The NinjaTrader, I'm sorry, on the YouTube. The YouTube hasn't kicked in yet. So I can't say hi to level 2 trading yet. But so you know, his comments, now we're back on YouTube. All right. Level 2 trading. If the 45.36 hold, this is an old comment. No, it's not. If the 45.36 holds, getting aggressive buy-ins, hunting the 67 to 72 area. Saw a tooth profile yesterday and good job numbers. Provided pretty good opportunity. Well, we have buyers coming in today so far, but we said that yesterday, remember? It was like, well, you know, actually, I think we had a successful long trade idea yesterday. And then all hell broke loose after that, after we logged out, probably because we're no longer talking. That's my guess. We weren't talking on YouTube anymore, so the market started to sell off. Maybe we should just keep talking all day. Chris, good morning. Herbert says, I started going to Zoom connection from Ninja. Sounds great. Yeah, that platform trading page is there. Paulie, good morning. Level 2, hey, the demo trader. Hello, everybody. Thank you for that comment. Welcome. Thanks for being here. We're going to get started officially in a couple more minutes. I'm just looking at this. It is crazy volatility, crazy volume, you know, a lot of risk, a lot of opportunity. Justin, good morning. Thanks for being here. Tracy, hello. Hey, do you have a workspace setup saved anywhere we can download? No, I don't. I wonder if I could do that. As the platform specialist, I should know this. But I'll show. It's really simple. I'll show you how I have my setup, and it's really, really, really easy. There's not a lot on here, but wow, look at this thing go. The demo trader wants to talk about margin violations. It's funny you should ask that question. It's not funny, but I'll absolutely talk about it today. The demo trader, and you know, the whole margin thing is unique in futures trading, and it's a little different. I don't mind at all. I will definitely talk about it. Let's get started here, and then we'll talk about that as we go a little bit further into the presentation. So, and literally, I've just I'm preparing you know, we do these specialty events Wednesday and Thursday at noon, and I'm preparing a new one for it's called What is Margins? It's not ready yet. It's not going to be published until January, but I'll give you kind of a brief overview today for sure. Terrence, good morning, my friend in Seattle. Good thing we're finally drying out in Seattle. Had a lot of rain. Angel, I'm sorry, good morning. Yeah, we have a whole parade of, Herbert's right, we have a whole parade. I have my Fed parade listed today. And Terrence from Dried Up NC. That's what Herbert's here with me. Herbert's a fellow Southerner now in North Carolina. Hey, Lee, thanks for being here. Good to see you. All right, let's go ahead. It's 10 o'clock on the dot here. For those of you who are new, welcome. I'm glad you're here. We do these things pretty much all the time. My trusted sidekick later on in the event, Isabella, will go ahead and cut and paste some links on where you see our whole schedule of events. But my name is Jim Cagnina, Senior Education and Training Specialist for the NinjaTrader platform. Trade setups in the E-mini S&P 500 market. We do this every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I do want to remind everybody that trading futures options on futures involves substantial risk of loss, not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility. And although that can be an equation for opportunity, it's also an equation for risk. So be careful, only fund your futures trading account with risk capital. My personal definition, money I could afford to lose. And I'm giving you my personal definition because everybody's unique and different, right? We're all different ages. We all have different lifestyles. We all have different financial circumstances. So it is a unique kind of idea, right? It's a unique thing for you. But my personal one is money that I could lose, doesn't change my lifestyle, doesn't lengthen my retirement horizon, and doesn't overly stress me out. Those are the three things that I kind of look at as my criteria. Your criteria is going to be unique to you, but keep in mind, easy on the day trade margins, easy on the leverage, be patient. These are kind of part of the equation that I think could help help you have a better experience in trading here. We're not going to talk about past performance. I am logged into a simulated live trading account with a real-time data feed. So any questions on that, type that in. Speaking about volatility and thinking about leverage and in volatility, I mean we've already done 750,000, over 750,000 in the classic E-mini S&P. And that's a spicy meatball. We've already done over 500,000 in the micro ES. That's a spicy meatball. This is unusually large volume, and we know why, right? We have some really big price dislocations happening in the last few days. A lot of stuff going on in the uncertainty category with respect to the COVID variants. And everything. We have another government shutdown looming on Friday. We got to get that all resolved. Looks like it's going to get resolved tomorrow, though. Boy, let's see. Level 2 trading lost 2 in a row yesterday. Took the hit and went and took the dog for a walk. Excellent thing to do, especially if you're having a bad day. You're not seeing it. Your trade setup's not happening. And the funny part is level 2. That's what I do. I walk my dog too. Which is a lot easier to do here in North Carolina because the weather's better. Ali, hey Jim, do you go live just on YouTube? It seems I'm always missing the start. So Ali, there's a platform link in the chat box there. If you could go through Zoom or Facebook, and pretty much the stuff that I talk about before if there's any discussion before the discussion on risk, it's pretty much just kind of small talk between us. We're getting to know each other. We're talking. We're telling, where you from, what's the weather like, that kind of thing. How you feeling today? Pam, good morning. Thanks for being here. This market is strong. Let's take a look at some of the level 2. Is there a way to see block trades, working orders on Ninja? What do you mean by block trades? I'm interested in this. What do you mean by block trades? This is what we're seeing right now is the ES market, right? This is the micro ES. I have MES up here. We see transparency here. We see the trading ladder with the bids and offers that are in the book, and any orders that haven't been sent to the CME group, we can't see. Where are they at, right? Are they on some algo's computer system somewhere in Spain? I don't know, but yeah, no. I mean, it's a work. It's different than it is within an ECN environment in the stock world. This operates completely differently. MA, all right, so for chart management, hold your control key down on your keyboard, click the mouse in the middle of your chart, and you could just wiggle it up and down however you want. The axes you could just click on and expand sideways or up and down. Once you get the hang of it, it's pretty straightforward. David, thank you. I am well. I appreciate that comment. How do you get your volume on the left of the volume profile? I'll go over that, Michael, in a second. Well, I'll go over it right now while we're waiting. I want to see what happens here before we start putting fib lines on and coming up with a trade idea based on our usual strategy. And I am in the micros today. I learned my lesson 2 days ago. We're going to be focusing on the micros now because we could scale in a little bit better. We could take a little bit more heat, especially with this volatility here, and maybe capture some success. I don't know. We'll find out. But right click, indicators. You need to have the order flow volume profile version of the software. If you scroll down here, you'll see it. I already added it. Order flow volume profile down here at the bottom. So just look. It's not. It's your initial reaction is to say, "Hey, where's volume profile?" It's not in the V's. This is alphabetical list. It's not in the V's, and this one here doesn't do the trick. This is not the one you use. Volume profile here. You do not use that one. You use the one that says order flow volume profile, which is up higher. It's in the O's, and it's right there. That's how I have it. And then once you add it down to the bottom here, you can throw that order. You could highlight it, and then you could change. I have ticks per level at 5 for some bad reason. So we're going to change this to a more proportionate. We'll change it to 4. Since the ES is traded in quarters. So we're starting to get some sellers coming in here. This is a good thing. I mean, I don't know if it's a good thing, but it's going to help with the trade idea here for sure. So they're hang tight on that level 2. Let's get some fib lines in here. Yeah, there is a book map type feature here, and it's a graphical representation of what you're seeing on the trading ladder. And there's also number bars, which I think is similar to is another thing that I think folks like to look at. Retracement, I'm going to go low to high, and we're going to kind of take a breath here. We have 23. We'll see if this high holds. Remember, I mean, it's really volatile, a lot of action here. 23.6 is a natural target. The top of the value area is another target. Point of control is another target. So let's kind of be patient here and wait another 2 minutes. We're going to have a new candle, and we can make some decisions at that point. David, the answer to your question is yes. I don't know. I don't have a time frame for you on that. Kaz, yeah, you could set this to for sure in the settings. And I'm not going to do it now because I don't like, it's not my cup of tea, but in the settings, when you go to indicators, order flow volume profile, you could change a lot of the parameters. One of them is display mode, buy and sell. Right here, I have mine standard. I just want to see them all. I can't make. I'm not smart enough to make heads or tails of the separation, but you could definitely do it. It's very sophisticated. You could do it for sure. But great question. All right, so just let's look at our daily chart here because we've got to establish a bias, and I don't know what my bias is. It's I think you have to be on your toes today, right? I mean, right now we're definitely in the bias. Just looking at this daily chart, right? Looking at this daily chart, not knowing anything else. If you didn't see, Omicron Friday or know anything that's going on in Capitol Hill, anything that's going on with closing borders in Germany and all that kind of stuff, you would say, hey, this is in a bear market. Look at how big that wick is yesterday at the top of that candle. A lot of sellers are coming in. This is looking negative. We had a breakthrough candle here on Omicron Friday. We shook it off on Monday. We continued back on Tuesday after Powell started talking, and then we continued on a continuation bar. Now we're finally seeing a little bit of, maybe these are fortune hunters, right? Buying dips and looking for value in the underlying securities. I don't know, but we're right up against that 38.2%. We stopped at the 50%, and that's another. It's like the miracle of fibs. Right? The miracle of fib lines. I can't explain it. I don't know why oftentimes, not always, a lot of times though, it just kind of seems magical in my mind. And right now, this is just a longer term fib I put up there. I've had it up there for a while. We've been talking about it for a while. And look at the low yesterday. It touched it. It's amazing. So anyway, we're up around the 38.2% right now. Really big candle, even though it doesn't look like a big candle compared to the two previous ones. Let's just go ahead and click on it. High to low, 45.66. Low is 45.05, right? 61 handle, high to low. That's huge. We're kind of taken for granted. We're spoiled with these giant red candles here. So we'll see if the idea here is we're just having bargain hunters in the market right now in this particular stock index, underlying stock index entity components, or if this is a signal that, okay, we kind of get the idea of what Omicron is going to be. Now, the other thing that happened today, which is very important, is OPEC Plus went ahead and said we're going to continue with our production. Our plans for greater output in January, and I think that has something to do with today's push up as well. And let's just take a look at my. We're definitely in a bear market here in crude oil, and I think what OPEC Plus said at their meeting they just finished was, hey, if prices are in the low 60s, we're okay with that. We can go ahead and boost production a little bit in January. We're going to keep doing that. And then, the US dollar is where it's at, right? So they factored into the US dollar right now being where it's at. So that's kind of, that's another factor today to think about. All right. So right now we touched the 38.2%. Right now, from a patient's point of view, I'm for sure going to place one unit right above the point of control here. And we might get more aggressive in a second. This second candle here, though, let's see how that percolates a little bit lower. If you were to get a unit at the top of the value area around the 38.2%, that's another good place to be. So let's try that again. Maybe we should have put that in earlier, maybe not. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing because I like to be patient and I want to see the candle structure kind of form as we go. And right now I'm looking at this idea that crude oils, we got some relief from there. And then hopefully no more bad news on the virus. Terrence says I'm bull at 44.45. Okay, that's kind of just a little bit north of my first unit here that I put out there right now. And we're going to be patient. Now, the trouble with this trade idea is where the heck are you going to put your stop loss? And I'm not sure yet. I mean, I'm going to just put an emergency stop loss now right below the lows of the day here. We start making new lows. And this dotted line here is yesterday's close, right? This dotted line, dot, purple. So we're going to go right below that for now, right? And it's kind of it's a catastrophic stop at this point. I'm just kind of want to get it in there. You know, if we're wrong and we have some crazy volatility, which we had last couple of days, and we should expect it, we should be on our toes. I just want to have something in there. We're gonna mess with that a little bit. POC is where most of the volume is, right? That's right. This gold histogram bar at 35 even. So let's let this thing percolate a little bit and then scratch our heads and then come up with some ideas. My notes today: motor vehicle sales. I don't know why this is a big one, and I don't know why it's issued at 5 a.m. in the morning, to be honest with you. But you know, consensus was 13.2, actual was 12.9. Yeah, a little bit less than the consensus range. I don't know if that's a big deal or not. North American made sales. That again, that's a weird category, but what's true? Which automobile is truly 100% North American made? I don't know, but actual 10.4. Well, I don't have a consensus number on that, and prior was 10.1. So, you know, not a lot of market movement on this particular one. Challenger job cut report. There was a lot less layoffs last month than the prior, which is a good thing. Jobless claims. Remember, we're looking for full employment. The Fed's goal of full employment is still is a thing. Jobless claims. Okay, maybe a tick up, but still pretty sideways. I think the trend overall is pretty good with jobless claims as well. So that's kind of a good thing. Hopefully that'll continue. Yeah, natural gas is a little bit later on if you are 15 minutes from now, if you're trading that. And the Fed balance sheet is at 4:30. And if you're really bored at 4:30 this afternoon, go ahead and download that report and read it. Fed parade. Someone mentioned it today already. We do have this Fed parade coming. 1, 2. This guy's speaking twice. Mary Daly, Thomas. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sure Powell's going to say something to somebody. Notable reconciliation bill, government shutdown again, debt limit. I think I have these backward. Actually, I think the government shutdowns. Well, no, actually not. I don't have it backward. This government shutdown deadline, I think, is Friday. Then some earnings here. Nothing too exciting to talk about on the earnings point of view. Anyway, those are my notes this morning. For what they're worth, we're kind of pressing back down against this 38.2 again, which is okay. I mean, we're going to establish an equilibrium eventually, and as the volatility kind of slows down going forward over the next couple of weeks, I think we'll get back to some normal daily trading ranges. But Martin Wallace says 500 tick, just a 500 tick chart. I think he's referring to just through a complex head and shoulders pattern on the chart. Level 2 puked the 4560s. Jim, I'm going backward on questions. Good morning. For longer term trades using options focused on trading commodities, where can you take actual void of the snake oil guys information on profitable techniques? I don't know. If you're talking about options, you're talking about to the wrong guy. I'm not in a position to actually give any good information on that type of strategy, but they're all over the internet for sure. Okay. So demo trader in an equity world, you have you have, order flow brokers, you have direct trading with the exchange, you have different exchanges, you have dark pools, and typically you don't see the whole entire field. In futures trading, you do. I mean, I'm going to freeze the trading ladder here. These are the bids and offers that are in the book at the CME right now, right? Real-time bids and offers in the book. And this is the only game in town. No matter which trading platform you're using, or no matter what broker you're using, if you're going to trade the micro, E-mini S&Ps, it's going to go to the CME Globex for execution on a first in, first out basis. Nobody's marking up a bid-ask spread. Nobody's buying your order flow. None of that stuff happens. So it's truly a transparent and, in my opinion, better experience than some of the other cash over the counter steadfast markets that we all look at. I don't know if that helps or not, but hopefully it does. All right, so we got one unit right now. Let's see what happens at the end of this candle to make some decisions here. Again, it's a very unique day, very unique week. We got to give ourselves a lot of breath. That's where we're kind of pivoted over to the micro ES today. I'm willing to have an expanded view, and I'm even willing to get a third unit in if it makes sense to get a third unit in. Right now, if we do get our second unit around the point of control, then what we're going to see is we'll have 20% exposure on a large classic ES, and with the way this thing's moving around, that could be plenty. We could have a plate full. So let's kind of hang tight. We're long one contract. You can see everything's mimicked on the chart as well as on the Superdome, NinjaTrader Superdome. Level 2 threw his 2 cents in. It says, as a former options trader, it's not easy. Yeah, I haven't had good luck in the options world, by the way. Herbert says MNQ just sucker punched the market. While we're waiting for this candle, we'll toggle over to the MNQ in a second. Let's let this candle complete itself and see what it looks like, and see if we can generate any clues from its structure. Because it's literally 9, 10, 20. The next candle close actually will be more important than the 10:30 candle. The close at 10:30. But let's go ahead and just hang on and be patient here. Dow is up 400. Dow has been the weak link in the stock index futures, I think, in general. New candle, and you saw the velocity when the new candle was formed right away. You saw that velocity on the trading dome, and that's because, again, every 10-minute increment, you're going to get another candle that's closed, and you have more information for the algos, the system trading folks, and folks like me and you. So there's, a lot of times you see a burst of orders come in, at 10:20, 10:30, 10:45, 11, those kind of hours, those kind of even increments right now. So we're kind of getting closer to our second unit, and I really would like to get the second unit, just FYI, as a scale in kind of thing, especially since we have our third red candle now. We have our second lower high, and we have our second lower low. Let's keep an eye on the highs of the candles and the lows of the candles as we go forward here, and see if we can get that point of control again. We've only traded through the point of control twice, really, since the cash market opened up, and then we did it all night last night too. That's where the volume probably accumulated. All right, while we're waiting, let's toggle over to the MNQ, and I'm going to put a profit target in a second too. But let's go over to MNQ. Come on, really? I don't have it on here. To do it the old-fashioned way, MNQ. Click. Oh, you know what? I forgot to show you this trick. Wow, this is looking less appealing by the minute, this particular chart, from a long point of view. Real dominant candle here. NQ's been kind of weak all day, though. Dominant candle here on the open. Sellers came back in after 2 continuation candles and are driving this thing back down. This red dotted line, low from yesterday, not the low from today, but the low from yesterday. And the low from today is further south than that, for sure. Let me just kind of format this a little bit better, see if there's a trade idea here. Point of control is way up high. We're forming a second distribution up here right now, and I'm inclined to think the opposite trade idea here in the MNQ with a potential short trade. But let's think about it and watch it a little bit. We have the third lower low, the third lower high. I don't see an opportunity right now to go long right now. So we'll toggle back and forth to that. And I forgot the trick that I have these two linked, right? So if you look at the chart with the orange at the top, instrument link, I have the same color orange on my quote board. And so all I have to do is click on my quote board and the chart will change with all the stuff that I have on it, right? So I don't have to like reconfigure a chart, add CCI, moving average cross, and volume again. We're almost to 1 million contracts already in the ES. This is crazy. All right, so let's think about, we got 1 unit so far. And again, catastrophic profit target. I'm just going to go ahead and just throw it up at new highs for now. And I want to see a couple more candles develop here before we kind of fine tune our trade idea. There'll be a certain point, if we're lucky, where we can get some trade lift up to the second competing point of control where my crosshairs is right here. And then we could kind of tighten stuff up. Not quite there yet. Let's just be a little bit patient and see if we could even get there. It is 7 more minutes before the 10:30 bar. So the indicators code X. Is that right? Codex? Is that right? I just have my oscillator here, and you can call it oscillator ABC. You could use any oscillator. I like the commodity channel index. That's what's there. That's what I have there. You could either make it a histogram bar, or you could make it a line. I have it as a line on this particular chart. And, we're pretty strong still. We're over 100, but the slope is what's important, right? So we have the slope down, and let me kind of pick it up a little bit. We have a pretty decent sized slope down. The angle on the slope is starting to slow down, and we'll see if that angle slows down or if it accelerates in a downward motion right now. So right at 102, slope's important at this point going forward. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Moving average cross is 6 and 26 down at the bottom. The fast moving average is crossed above the slow moving average, and it is diverging down below here, right? The difference is about 20 handles. If you could see the red flag and the blue flag on the right-hand side. At the bottom, I just have volume, and I usually don't have this on here, but because of the unique aspects of this market since Friday, I want to kind of look at the volume here and see, was it overnight? Was there an overnight move? Yes or no? What was the volume spike like overnight? Was it meaningful or not meaningful? Was it a low volume spike? And these dominant candles here on the volume just make sense, right? When the cash market opens up, boom, everything is turned on, right? The fire has been ignited. Griffin is in. Just got in the office. It was yesterday afternoon fun. Yeah, yesterday afternoon was a little nutty. We are long 1 unit right from where we're at right now, Griffin, and we're looking to pick up another unit. The point of everything is shifted, so the whole volume profile is shifted. The Fibonacci has not. We're right at that 38.2%. That's where we got in. And we're sticking with fibs today as more of an important area of interest because of this kind of shifting volume profile that we see moving all over the map. Lots of hellos to Griffin. Appreciate you being here. My target placement right now is not scientific in slightest. This target here, I'm throwing it in right now, and I'm going to tighten it up. Especially once we get a new green candle here, and once we get closer to this competing point of control where my crosshairs is, then I'm going to move that down. I'm also going to tighten up my stop for sure. The second unit we have not got yet. That's not good English. My mom would be mad at me. We have not obtained the second unit yet. So I'm thinking from a stop management point of view, tighten things up, but not yet. I want to see this candle form. I want to see the 1030 candle. I think that's going to be a candle of interest. And again, you just saw the volume profile kind of peak up right there. I'm just kind of really being protective of this incredible volatility. I am going to move this two stop to the bottom of the value area though right now. Start tightening it up. Start tightening it up. Dow is up 463. Wow. Remember the first time that happened when the Dow was up over 200? Everybody's hair caught on fire. Now it's like routine. Tracy, I have tried Woody's CCI in 2001, about 20 years ago. And I'm aging myself. And, I think any oscillator that you're comfortable with is good. Our slope here has kind of changed to sideways, or it's even ticking up a little bit. We want some more time for it to do something, but that's a good sign. At least we kind of get stability over 100. I like that. Moving average cross here is really starting to diverge a little bit more. So I'm just going to hang tight a little bit more. We have another, 2 minutes for this candle is done. And then we'll leap into action with our target. So, I'm always a fan of having best practices, having some kind of catastrophic stop and target in play just in case. And then as kind of data the structure of the candle starts to form and try to make some, at least attempt to make some scientific types of adjustments, we'll call them. So Tracy, I didn't mean to be glib on that response. Woody was a pioneer, right? Woody's CCI was a big thing in the early 2000s. It was huge. Everyone was talking about it. And my hat's off for sure. But, Terrence, I just have my CCI set at 20. I think better be set at 20. Yeah, it's set at 20. Yeah, the default here on NinjaTrader, I think, is 14. Every software is a little different. Mike is seeing a 40 tick rolling pattern on the ES 1000 tick chart. Are we rolling up or down, Mike? That would be my question. Sasha is looking bearish around 60. Around 60. Yeah, so right now, all right, we got one more. Let's see what happens here in this next candle. We have a couple seconds here. And let's see what the velocity of the move is, up or down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply get ready to move this target down to the top of the value area for now. See if we can get some trade lift up there. And then my stop, I'm going to leave alone for a second. And actually, I'm not going to leave alone for a second. I'm going to leave alone for a second. Let's just be patient here. We're a few ticks away. I don't know if we're going to get it or not get it. The velocity of that move was not what I thought it was going to be. That 1030 candle, but we're still green so far. We have a higher low. That's a good thing. This is our third higher high. That's a good thing for the trade idea anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel the second unit. I'm going to change our stop to a 1 contract stop. And then I'm going to go ahead and move this up to break even plus a tick, give or take. And then we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it like that for this next couple of minutes and see what happens. Lee says, just trailed my stop and got hit at 53 for a $60 profit. That's something happened. Sorry, I got to look back. All right, so we got our target. I'm going to cancel the stop. We'll take a deep breath and let's think about our future. Congratulations, Lee. That's good news. Joe, this is a great question, Joe. And again, thanks for being here. Greatly appreciated. This is part of the NinjaTrader education type of suite of events. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I do this. It's free for everybody. Anybody can come whenever you want. And there's no subscription or requirement. You just kind of log in. You just click on the link, and just like you did to get here or the YouTube. And you subscribe to the YouTube channel, by the way, and you'll get automatic notices in your email if you want. But yeah, I mean, that's more the merrier. Tell your friends, come on in. And, people like Mike and Griffin and Lee, who are sharing what they're doing that might be a little different than me, is greatly appreciated. I love thinking about what you're doing, listening about what you're doing. We go through this discovery process together to try to get better. And I've been doing this for, I started on the floor of the board of trade in the 80s, early 80s, early 80s. So this journey is never over. And it's really, and we started talking about market pricing moving like a river, and it does, right? But it's like that Bruce Springsteen song, the river does not know where it's flowing. It took a wrong turn and it just kept going, and that's what happens here, right? It never ends. It never turns off. You're playing blackjack. You know what the end of the game is, right? And you know what the end of the game is when the dealer does its thing. Here, it just keeps going, right? And so the discovery process, and we're breaking new ground. I mean, we're as we go from a volume point of view, from a market participant point of view, from a sophistication of trader point of view. The release of the micros has really, in my opinion, has made futures trading accessible to just about anybody. So I'm sorry, I'm off on a tangent. Apologize for that. It's Thursday. I'm taking Friday off. I'm off tomorrow. I'm off Friday. So this is my Friday. So I'm kind of excited, but there's great opportunities here. And sometimes we, Joe, sometimes we take it on the chin and our trade idea is a bad one. And sometimes it's not, it's okay. Oh, demo trader. Okay. So I did forget. Thank you for reminding me. Oh, okay. So leverage and margin. Okay. So demo trader asked to explain a little bit about margins. We are going to do a whole event on it pretty soon, but let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit more. And let's do it in the lens of another position, right? Let's wait to get another. I'm going to go ahead and again point of control. I'm going to try to get in a position here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to hit buy market, right? Point of control. 45, 40 and a half off, market happiness, in my opinion. This is not a perfect distribution, but it's not bad. It's not bad from a bell-shaped curve point of view. So I like the point of control right now. I still feel like, maybe we're going to recoup a little bit of positive on the market side. YM still up almost 400. All right, so now we have our order filled, and I'm going to go ahead and put my second unit just between the 50 and 61 this time. And I'm going to see this little wick right here. I'm going to try to match it up so I'm a little bit above that wick right there. I'm going to right click, put my second unit in. And again, I'm going to do the same thing with my stop. I'm going to put a catastrophic stop in right now. Hit the lows, and we'll tighten that up as we get some more bar formation. And then from a profit target point of view on the very first entry, again, I want to see this wick challenged up here at the very top. And I think it could be challenged here at the very top. I don't know. We'll find out. And so now this is kind of my setup for the moment. Let's take a deep breath and let's look at our intraday margin, right? So the intraday margin here, this is called day trade margin. You can see it up here on the left, right? It says $100, right? Take into account two things. It's taking into account the position that I have, right? That's a $50 day trade margin. And then it's taken into account the potential of a second unit, which would be another $50 day trade margin. And remember, we're not borrowing money to do this, right? This is money that's been allocated within my account. It's still in my account. It's allocated within my account. And then the next column over says excess intraday margin, right? I have plenty of excess intraday margin. I'm over 6,000 here. So I'm not over leveraged, right? If this were a classic ES, then everything would be multiplied by 10. It's multiplicative math, right? This initial margin here is how much money I would need to have to hold a position overnight. And I'm simplifying it a little bit, but in other words, to establish a position for longer term, right, to hold it past the close today, I would have had to have $1,265 or more in my account to do that. And which in this case I did. If this were a classic ES, then it would, and this initial margin number is just based on my position. It's not based on the potential position. like the day trade margin is. So if this were a classic ES, the requirement would be $12,650. And I would not have an excess initial margin or overnight margin. There would be a margin deficit, and I would not be able to carry that position over. But now, since I'm trading micros, I can, right? I could hold this position. I have plenty of excess margin here to do it from an overnight point of view. And remember, overnight's 1 hour, right? It's 5 to 6. Overnight's 1 hour. It's 5 to 6 East Coast time, right? And that's just set by the exchange, right? The initial margin is set by the exchange. Intraday margin is typically are a lot lower on the expectation that you're going to liquidate your position or positions before the close. Sometimes right away. Sometimes you're going to hold it for a while, right? We've already liquidated one position, and once you do that, your initial margin is automatically freed up. You could take another trade if you want. That's another advantage over futures trading, over equity trading. So that's what that's in a nutshell. That's it. And it's how it works. You're not borrowing money. It's money that's already in your account. That's why you fund your account, so that you're establishing your margin potential. And we got our second unit. Now, this is an interesting candle because it's an outside bar so far. How much time do we have? It's 10:38. It's 10:38. So we're going to kind of wait for another candle. We're going to see if this red bar continues. This is the exact same trouble we got into last time, for sure. And so there'll be a time when we maybe want to tighten up our stop as we get to the bottom of the value area. But I want to see another candle before I do it. And if we get a continuation candle and a strong continuation candle, yeah, then the game's over. It was bad trade idea the second time. But more importantly, the demonstration of margin, the number that's changing is my excess intraday margin, right? As my unrealized P&L goes down, then my excess margin gets smaller. If my unrealized P&L gets bigger, then my excess intraday margin gets bigger. Right? It's what it's saying is, if you close your position out right now, here's how much money you have. If you think of it that way. And remember, total P&L is unrealized P&L. This is gross P&L, right? Unrealized P&L plus realized P&L. That's for the session. That's for this trading session. Jim says to Griffin, I don't like to place more than 3 trades per day. I tend to get into trouble after that. That's an interesting. So I would ask you this question, Jim. Your 3 trades, do you do them in a specific time frame? And does the trouble happen after a specific time frame? Maybe there's a zone which you're good at, and then a time zone where you're not good at it. Paradigm in the market changes all the time, as we saw yesterday, as Griffin pointed out. All hell broke loose in the afternoon. So there's different entities, there's different supply and demand concerns at different times in the day. There's different market participants at different times of the day. And all of these considerations in my head are important. Level 2 trading's filled at 45.30. That's good fill, or 6 handles in it. Like it. Yeah, Griffin's technique was similar to the technique we just used on the previous trade, but he's quicker. He's tighter than I am. Oh, man. SMA in a small box, no worries. I got that one covered for you, Michael. All I'm doing, are you talking about underneath here on this panel? So this is panel 1 at the top. Panel 2 is where my CCI is. Panel 3 is where my simple moving average is. And panel 4 is where my volume up is. And so I'm going to do a couple things. We're going to go to the indicator right now. I'm going to go ahead and click on my first part of my moving average cross, right? This is the 26 period, the slow one. And I just created it in a new panel. If panel 3 doesn't exist yet, then you'll see on the drop-down menu here under panel, new panel, right? You can just click on it. It will create it in a new panel for you if a new panel does not already exist. And then when you do the second part of your moving average cross, if this is your intention, then you will see the panel there, which is 3, and then you add it that way. So just take a look at this panel and visual panel in the property section, and then whatever indicator or whatever study you have listed on the configure section, you could kind of put in whatever panel you want. A is long at 35.25 right now, right here, right now. So far, the bottom of the value area is holding up. The 61.8% is holding up. We have a new candle percolating right now. Percolating. I remember my grandparents used to have one of those old-fashioned coffee percolators on the stove. I'm sure I'm saying the word wrong. Percolate. It was awesome. Old tin kind of looked like it was tin. I don't know what it was made out of, but you see the coffee bubbling up in a little glass top at the very top of it. You knew it was ready. Those were the days. Now I think, with the way these new coffee machines are programmed, you got to be a coder and figure out how to do it. Ankle Boo Boo, good to hear from you. Yeah, how do you handle the speed of the market? Well, first of all, again, I'm going to plug the NinjaTrader platform. It's really, really nimble. If I was using the trading ladder, you could just click, 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 click really quick. But, in a day like today, and we learned this lesson strongly on Tuesday, right? I took it on the chin on Tuesday. And sometimes it's better from a volatility point of view and a patience point of view to trade the micros and give yourself, put your stops, give yourself some distance in your stops and in your profit targets, and then be patient and sit on your hands. And so that's what we're attempting to do today. And especially, who knows, if we might end up lower on the day in this particular market. ES is only up 20 now. Dow is only up 300. Our buyer's going to come in or not. We're about to breach our 61.8%. I'm inclined to definitely think about bailing on this and tightening up our stop at some point. Alternatively, if you're aggressive, the idea of buying another unit at 61.8% right here at the 27.5 isn't a bad idea either. So it just depends on how aggressive, how conservative you want to be, Ankle Boo Boo, in my opinion. And how much patience you want to give it. Here, we're giving it a lot of patience. I'm basically saying, hey, we're trading the whole range for the day so far, high to low, a couple of times, right? We went low, we went high, we're going low again. And that's just the paradigm of the market today. Let's see what happens when this candle closes. Yeah, Griffin, that's a good point. I mean, he made a great point. He's saying, if you're consistently profitable, you might add a contract and take one off and let one run, but that's a different mindset from the one lot trading. I think you're right on that for sure. Yeah, so this little button here, you could click to change instrument colors. I have it on orange right there. And then you match it up with your market analyzer or whatever, or your trading ladder or whatever with the same thing. Click on the little rectangle and make it the same color. And then when you change, I'll do it for you. Let's just go to micro NASDAQ. I just click on my market analyzer and it gives me my MNQ chart with all the same studies on it. Right. And, you're going to have to, just because of the way the scale is, you're going to have to move it around a little bit. This is looking pretty weak. No place to buy. Absolutely not today, or at least right now in the NASDAQ market as we are watching this horrific event unfold. Let's just count how many lower highs we have. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many lower lows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very negative right now. I would not be looking for places to buy at all in this particular market. I'd do the opposite. I'd be looking for places to sell. And right now, let's see, NASDAQ's down 100. Yeah, I mean, this is not looking good. Not looking good. Let's toggle back over. I'm just going to click on my quote board and we'll get our original trade idea back up here. Manipulate. We'll take a look at the structure of the candle here. Yeah, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. So I think it's time to consider stop loss management on this particular trade idea. Unfortunately, there's no real good volume nodes to give us any tips right now. If we close below the 61.8%, the retracement's over. The trend is reversed. So maybe we'll wait for 4 minutes to see what happens with this candle, to see if we close below the 61.8 or not. But I'm cautiously worried right now. Level 2 is looking to add the 22s. So so by clicking the sidebar here, that adjusts it, right? Clicking the time frame bar at the bottom, that adjusts it. And then by just grabbing the chart, holding your control key down on your keyboard, and then clicking your mouse, it'll grab the chart and you could move it around however you want. So that's the key. It's that hold the control key down and then just kind of jiggle, move around, and you'll be in good shape. Jim says he's up at 5:30, 6 hours in front of the morning monitor. Griffin says he should have been short at 50. Well, yeah, it would have been nice. Right to kind of where we broke even right now. So let me make an observation right now on the bottom of the value area. In an ordinary trade environment, I would say this is a point of interest. And I'd probably put a stop loss a couple ticks below it. But because of the unusual nature today, 1.1 million in the ES, that's pretty big. You have to give yourself some breathing room. And again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but that you got, the micros could help you do that. Micros could help you do that. After this particular candle closes, we could make some more decisions too. It's 8:48. Got about 12 more minutes left today, so I can go a little bit over. For those of you who are new, 12 o'clock, I do believe we have a future, I think today's schedule includes Futures Trading 101 event. A lot of fun. And I'm going to go into detail about the bid-ask spread and how the exchanges are different than other types of exchanges and all that stuff. Let me just check here. Yep, Futures Trading 101. That's going to happen at 12 o'clock today. And I'll ask Isabella to go ahead and cut and paste the link for that into the various different chat boxes. Griffin has a line there. I know I have these lines that I forget about all the time. This is, yeah, if we were braver, we would have got, more, I shouldn't say braver. Again, the more aggressive approach is to use the value area lines, use the fib lines as areas to enter and areas to get out. And, this may have someone might say, hey, Jim, why didn't you get a third unit here at 46.26.50? Well, it would have, in retrospect, it would have been a good idea. I didn't know. But it's just, just depends on how aggressive you want to be. Simple as that. And what your time frame is on the trade idea. Thank you, Isabella. Level 2 got out at 45.40. All right, we have a new candle here. Let's kind of look at it, take a peek at it. NASI looks like it's coming back. Dow's at 400 again. That's a good thing. I mean, it's not a good thing, but it's a bullish thing. It doesn't matter if a good thing. I always say that it's a good thing. It's not bullish and bearish. It doesn't matter if the market goes up or the market goes down. It just matters your opinion, right? What your opinion is, what's going to happen, and then do you act on that opinion? I am in Eastern time, Jim, right now. All this is set up on Eastern time. Pam says, have to have a PhD in programming to get a TV to work now. I know. Yeah, I know. It's like, good thing I have teenage kids, right? One of them's not even a teenager anymore. That's a scary thought altogether. But when they're in town, it's like, hey, could you set this time light to go on automatically every night at this time of day? Griffin says it's a lot better idea to scale winners than losers. Well, that's a good point. So here's the thing: it's psychologically harder to do it, right? So as an example, you can buy another unit at 38 and 20, right? We'd be scaling into a winner, right? And then we would have 3 contracts here. And assuming the trend continues up, that would be a good thing, right? They'd be scaling into a winner. Scaling into a loser is kind of how I had it, right? I identified a couple of areas where I thought price volatility would occur, and I was willing to try to get 2 units that way. So it's a little bit of a different thing. Psychologically, it's way harder for me to buy a contract right now, right? It's way harder. I got 2 going. Things are looking good. And basically, by buying another contract now at 38.2, at the 43s, then in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I just bought at the top of that candle. You don't want to buy at the top. You want to buy at the bottom. This is the discussion going on in my head, right? But in a trending market, it could be a good thing for sure. And here's a good example. Let's say you bought yesterday's close. Market rallies during this candle. You bought another one at the bottom of the value area. Market keeps rallying. It would have been a good scale in, right? Hard to do psychologically, especially when your time frame is shorter. It was smaller, right? Time frame is smaller. Jim sees. Excuse me. I drink water here. Jim C says a couple of folks mentioned tick charts. Do the indicators used on the time chart work on them? Yeah, you could absolutely. You could, a tick chart is just a different time series analysis, right? It's not even a time. I take that back. It's not a time series analysis, but there's an x-axis, there's a y-axis, and you could add those indicators on it for sure. CCI is at 50, kind of neutral right now. Moving average cross maybe converging a little bit. We're still 13 handles separates the moving averages right now, and volume is starting slowly to peak down a little bit. We still have 1.1 million. So we might be entering into a low volume time. It's getting closer to lunchtime, not quite there yet. We got 7 more minutes before this candle forms. We do have let's take a peek here. What's going on with the structure of this candle? Make it a little bit easier to see. All right, so pretty dominant red candle here. Buyers came back in, sellers came back in. We're right below the point of control. I mean, literally 5 handles, 6 handles below the point of control, approaching the bottom of the value area. And we'll see what happens with this. What I'm going to do is I am going to consider this wick here is an area of interest, and I'm going to consider that moving a stop loss up to probably, I don't know, in this particular case, I'm thinking 3 handles below that particular wick. So what we'll do is we're just going to drag this up to the 20 area. And again, I'm looking at an hour time frame here where it's 10:54, and I really want to kind of just take my hands off the mouse in 6 minutes and let whatever the trade is work. Yeah, it is. David, you're absolutely right. A lot of bouncing around here. So we'll see if it starts slowing down. We do have a little bit of a smaller volume on the previous volume bar. I wonder if I have my volume bar set up right. Hang on, let's see. So this is a new thing in my world, this volume up and down. Calculate on each tick. There we go. You change all of your indicators to on each tick. Calculate on each tick. Applying, okay. There we go. So again, lower volume so far, but we're only halfway into the 10-minute bar right now. So we'll see what happens here. Oh my gosh, you're starting to quote Newsmax. Can't do it. I listen to Zero Hedge in the morning. That's my news source for. I watch it. I read it. That's my news source for doom and gloom. Zero Hedge. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're going to wait. We're going to stick around here. While we're waiting, I do want to remind everybody trading futures options on futures involves substantial risk of loss, not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility. And although that could be an equation for opportunity, also equation for risk, be careful only fund your futures trading account with risk capital. My personal definition, money I could afford to lose, doesn't change my lifestyle or lengthen my retirement horizon or overly stress me out. I find that when I'm in, when I have stress, I make bad decisions. I don't sleep well. I'm impulsive. Be in a good spot. And I love the walk the dog idea. Level 2 trading, news driven. We're back to where we entered. Buyers are coming back in 61.8%, and the bottom of the value area is holding for this particular candle, which is good news. What time is it here? It's 10:57. We have a couple more minutes before the next bar. And what I'm thinking of doing here is trying to pick off, scaling out of this particular unit, this trade idea, and then tightening up the stop here. So we're going to probably pick on this. Let's look at the volume over first before we do that. Crosshairs, 23.6. Not a lot of volume up there relative to the volume we're seeing down at the point of control. So that might be an aggressive place to get a unit. So I'm inclined to split the difference, but I see this higher high here, and I like the idea that it could be attractive for the market to get up to that higher, this wick up here. So we're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to try to get one unit just south of that 23. And then we'll manage our stop in a way that me and Griffin were just talking about. If in fact we get there, 37.5 is where we're going to move it up to. If in fact we get there. And again, in 2 minutes, we should see some velocity either way on this market. All right, so we got one of the units here. So let's go ahead and just tighten this thing up, move it up to 37.50, make it a one lot. 37.50 was where we were at. And then hang tight. Hang tight. Let's see what we get on this next candle. I'm in no hurry to leave. I mean, I've got future trading 101 an hour from now, but I'm not going to delta shift key in. Play pickleball. Pickleball has entered our vocabulary here into the Thursday event. Lee, you too. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to stick around though until I want to see this next candle. I want to see what happens with this. Remember, our other unit is way up here, right? So we're letting it run, right? It's called letting it run, like Griffin was talking about. We have one unit. We banked that one unit, and we're going to let the second one run. Otherwise, we run the risk of, okay, maybe we're going to get stopped out. But since we've already banked one unit, that's okay. This is kind of a favorite Dan Graham's kind of strategy that he taught me. I don't know, 2001 and 2. Pam, take care. Thanks for coming. Level 2, time to ride the dragon, Shang. What? What are you talking about? Oh man. Hey, if you guys aren't here though, Thursday at the Future Trading 101 event, which is fine, I'm not going to hold it against you. Have a great weekend. Also, thumbs up on the YouTube channel. Greatly appreciate it. Tell anybody who's interested in listening to pop in, join us, provide some commentary. We could laugh a little bit and hopefully discover something useful. Simon, thank you for that. I appreciate that. All right, new candle. Let's see what's going on here. We have, again, higher high, higher low, higher highs accumulating. We do seem to have, I'm going to draw my rectangle now, my area of, this is what we haven't done yet, but I think it's appropriate to do it right now. I'm going to kind of show you an area of resistance, that short-term contemporary area of resistance really quickly. I'm going to match up my rectangle to the top of the highest body of a candle that's recently closed. And I'm just going to draw a rectangle. This is my area of resistance right now, and I think it's reasonable to try to get a unit within that rectangle. So this is kind of how we're gonna frame the conversation a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and try to tighten things up a little bit. We're gonna look at that point of control as maybe an area for a stop. I'll move that up here a little bit to the point of control. And again, tightening things up, trying to take advantage of the fact that the second unit's green and the first unit's already in the bank. That's kind of what I'm thinking now. All right, Terrence, thanks. Appreciate it. Chris, thank you. Everybody who's wishing me a nice weekend. Ditto to you for sure. I'm going to end it with, as we always do, please be safe out there and take care of each other. See you again soon.